Hey everyone, Sterling here. So I've spent 2025 traveling the world, speaking at conferences, having hundreds and thousands of conversations around AI, agents, and APIs. I've built hundreds of MCP servers. I have vibe coded more apps than I could probably count. I've watched this space transform in ways that even caught optimists off guard. Here's what I've learned, and here's what I think is coming in 2026. Let's talk about vibe coding. 2025 is arguably the vibe coding revolution. What have we learned about vibe coding? Well, I think we've defined it wrong. I think there's actually two types of vibe coders. One are the true vibe coders. The true vibe coders are people who are non-engineers, who are building applications. People like my wife. They have an idea and they want to bring it to life. The underlying code is a foreign language to them, and that's okay. The second type are engineers, but with superpowers. A good tool in the hands of a skilled engineer isn't just to help, it multiplies. What we're seeing is I'm seeing here myself, and I'm seeing across the world, is that it's the 10x, 15x, and in some cases even 100x capabilities. You know, you go on to any of the subreddits where people are talking about vibe coding, there are people who are managing swarms and teams of AI agents who are writing a lot of code for them. For me, my biggest unlock was when Sonnet 4.5 came out. That was the point where now I could one-shot tools. I could start to build more stuff. And now for me, Opus 4.5 is now my daily driver. These are the worst these models will ever be. Now, I want to talk about MCP. At the beginning of this year, I asked my audience at conferences, how many people have heard of MCP? And beginning of the year, it was only roughly about 20% had actually heard of MCP. And when I asked how many people have actually built an MCP server or used an MCP server, that number hovered right around 5%. Now, last month, I spoke at QCon. I asked the same questions, and nearly 100% of the audience raised their hands and said they'd heard of MCP, and almost 20% had said that they'd built or have used MCP servers on their own. It didn't solve our problems. In some cases, it made existing problems completely impossible to ignore. The core of this issue is our APIs all suck. Our APIs were designed for humans. And so when a workflow failed with, for instance, with an MCP tool, it's calling an API, when it failed, we immediately said, oh, that's the problem of the MCP. But what we're not realizing is that these APIs were never designed for AI consumption. Now, at a meetup last week, one of the audience raised their hand and said, what does AI consumption mean? So let me explain. AI consumption is where an AI is going to consume that API. But the difference between a human and an API, or a human and an agent, is that we give ourselves a lot of leeway. An API can fail, and we'll read the docs, we'll go look at Stack Overflow, we'll figure that out. But an AI agent can't. And we have a higher threshold of success for an AI agent. When an API fails with an agent, we blame the agent. We don't blame the API. MCP laid bare a lot of our problems with our APIs. A lot of companies this year simply just dropped an MCP server right on top of their APIs without changing anything, without changing the underlying architecture, without changing the error codes, the error states, the details, the metadata, anything that comes through. So when an agent failed, it couldn't self-heal. That's the problem with the API. That's not a problem with the agent. 2025 was a year of MCP. It really blossomed into and gained widespread adoption. But it also laid bare, again, our problems. Our APIs, our underlying API structure is not great, and security and trust still remain a big barrier in MCP adoption. Something I didn't expect was Nano Banana. Now, I primarily talk about coding, I primarily talk about APIs, so why is Sterling here talking about Nano Banana and image generator? Yes, we've all had fun. We went through the year where we Giblified ourselves, but the trick that really changed for me, or what I saw with Nano Banana, is that Nano Banana can take a data set and visualize it. So much so that it is correct 95% of the time. A lot of us still use software to visualize data, and we're getting to a point now where Nano Banana and these image models are so good that they can help us visualize the data in ways that were impossible before, but now we don't need that additional software. Now let's talk about the book that changed my thinking. The book that I'm talking about is If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies. This is a must-read on everybody's list. It is not fear-mongering. This is a serious examination of where we're headed right now. It has shaped how I think about the future. It is something that I feel is really giving us the true trajectory of where AI can be. Artificial superintelligence is what the book is referring to. The way the authors portrayed this gives us a clear idea of what our future is going to look like. So that is my must read for 2025. All right, lastly, I want to talk about my predictions for 2026. I've written down 4 predictions here. Prediction number 1, 2026 is going to be the year where we start to really look at context engineering, taking our data sets and cleaning it up so that we can give the agents the data it needs to make decisions on what it should do. My second prediction, good engineering practices still matter. There is no shortcut to good software development. So, we have 40 years of software practices that we have learned, software engineering practices we've learned. Those are still valid. I wrote a blog post earlier in the year called You're Vibe Coding Wrong, and that's okay. The idea there is I do a lot more planning before I even let an agent go write code for me. I spend a lot of time thinking through the problem, thinking through the architecture, going back and forth. Yes, am I using Claude for any of this? Absolutely. And this is what good software development practices look like. And those practices are still valid, if not more valid, in the world of AI and vibe coding. Prediction 3, I think we're going to see a company that is built entirely by one engineer, one vibe coder, and we're going to see the first $1 billion solopreneur. Okay, prediction 4, AI augments. It does not replace. We've heard a lot of people fearmonger that AI is coming for your job. AI is nowhere near replacing jobs. Now, I say this because AI can save us time. So for me, AI can save me 40% of my time on some of these menial tasks. But that doesn't mean I'm spending only 60% of the time doing work and 40% not doing anything. I'm now doing 40% more. And so I have the expectations, not just on myself, but my team are seeing the velocity that has increased from this. And so when velocity increases, capabilities increase. Jobs, they're still here. That's not going away. In closing, 2025 was the year AI became personal. For me, it unlocked projects that I dreamed about for years. AI has changed how I work, how I create, and how I think. 2026 is the year that we get intentional. We're going to talk about context. It's going to be about building. It's going to be about quality. It's going to be about things that actually last. There are 2 daily sources of information that I get for AI that I would be remiss if I didn't share those here. My go-to podcast, as I've shared over the course of this year, is the AI Daily Brief. The AI Daily Brief is my news in about 5 minutes, plus a deep dive into a subject. And the second source that has become a daily for me is Nate B. Jones. Now, he's on YouTube and he's on Substack. Now, by the way, all of these will be linked in the show notes. They'll also be linked in the comment section. I hope that you found this helpful. If you want to go deeper about any of these topics, please feel free to hit me up. I'm not going anywhere. You can find me here on LinkedIn, on YouTube. I'd love to hear your predictions for 2026. What did I miss? Am I completely off the mark? If you found this helpful, hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, we'll see you next time.